Hello, and if you have just joined us this week, welcome to the Canting Club. This week's wine is an Albarino from Spain, from Galicia, the northwestern corner of Spain, between the Bay of Biscay and the northern border of Portugal. And this one is from the region known as the LeirasAlbarino1, the very coastal Atlantic coast. Albarino from the LeirasAlbarino1 has a reputation as the best white of Spain, so let's see if this lives up to its reputation. It's a lovely greeny gold colour. That depth of colour will be due partly to the Albarino's thick skins and the colours in the skin, and also due to skin contact after pressing before fermentation, designed to extract all the aromatic compounds from those skins. This grape is particularly known for its fragrance. Wow, and what a fragrance! This has a pronounced exotic nose of elderflowers, almond paste, and even candied pineapple. Terrific. Big flavours on the palate too. This is no more than medium bodied, which counts as heavyweight for this grape, but there are big mouth-filling flavours of white peach and pink grapefruit especially. These lead into a long tingling finish, when that tingling is the acidity coming through. It was rather masked by the weight of fruit before. In fact, that richness of fruit made this taste initially almost off dry, when it's in fact actually a dry wine. That's very much an Albarino characteristic. Also on that finish, along with the acidity, are some hints of bitterness, of bitter almonds, which is particularly appetizing, makes it food friendly, and again characteristic of the grape. This Albarino is a particularly exotically ripe and full-bodied example from what was a particularly warm year. The Albarino is the trademark grape of the LeirasAlbarino1, accounting for more than 90% of the vineyards. This is not just because in recent decades it's become very fashionable, but also because it's very hard to successfully grow anything else in this climate. The LeirasAlbarino1 look more like the west coast of Ireland than like the rest of Spain. These are verdant, green, wooded hillsides coming up from deeply indented estuaries and bays. It rains a lot, and when it's not raining, the vineyards are often shrouded in mist. This is bad news for vines, largely because it's very good news for vine diseases like rot and mildew. To avoid this, the locals train the grapes up high on pergolas at head height, keeping the grapes as far off the damp ground as possible and exposed to the drying sea breezes. Even this wouldn't be enough if it weren't for the characteristics of the Albarino. It's got tiny berries with thick skins, effective raincoats, that form loose clusters with plenty of room for the air to circulate. This makes it particularly rot resistant. It also ripens early and easily and has a tendency to get very sweet and hence alcoholic. This counteracts the natural tendency of grapes in this wet climate to plump up with water and become dilute, so that most Albarino from LeirasAlbarino1 comes in at around 12%. The grape is perfectly adapted to the region. This one is quite strong, 12.5%, reflecting that warm summer. It had a small crop of concentrated grapes, so small in fact that it ran out practically as soon as we bought our consignment. We only have a handful of bottles of this vintage left, so if you buy some, you'll most likely get the 2014. I've tasted that and it's lovely. It's perhaps not quite as exotically rich, but it has crisper acidity and more of the salty tang that this seaside white is particularly known for. You wouldn't be missing out. Cheers.